I did have one AJ and Dre that I showed y'all from Michael Phillips, but obviously since then the things has changed and Allen got an extension. And I'll just read this verbatim. This is from Ron Rivera following the extension of Logan Thomas and Jonathan Allen. And it goes as follows. I'm just glad it's out the way. You know, these are guys that we believe fits us going into the future. They give us some stability. I think it shows others players that we most certainly are working hard to try and keep our own. That's how you build a team if you're able to sign those guys, keep those guys around. We were able to find Logan last year, and he developed into a type of player we believe he has the ability to be, and we are just very fortunate we can keep him around. As you know, Jonathan was a first round draft pick, a guy that has tremendous impact on our football team, not just as a player but as a leader. So it was good to get him done. So before I go to you all, AJ and Dre, I'm gonna ask you, Nick, how valuable, if Pro Football Focus grading was to tell the story, how valuable is Jonathan Allen to the Washington football team? And if you are prepared for Logan, I will ask the same thing for Logan, but I know we talked about Allen beforehand.
Yeah, for Allen, we've always, or me specifically, has always thought he's been the best defensive lineman just because from an all-around perspective, you got pass rushing and run defense. The big thing that PFF is kind of pushing from him is the sacks. Last year it was just 2 sacks, and everyone's freaking out, 2 sacks and whatnot. But he had a pass rush win rate of 17%, which was the 8th best in the entire NFL. So he's getting to the quarterback. He's affecting the passer. He's forcing interceptions. He's forcing incompletions, and he's just always been valuable in that way. So again, it's not all about the sacks for him. It's about the sort of pressure he causes the quarterback.
What about Dre and AJ? Now, AJ, I know you got a little comment about you got a little comment about the boy Jonathan Allen. If you want to take the lead on this one, be my guest, man, because we know how you feel.
I mean, I definitely think that the deal happened last minute, like we all kind of like heard about. Because I even seen like Blake, his agent, post like, hey, we kind of did not Redskins, but Washington football team a favor, which means like the discussions that we had prior, they were aiming for even more money. They were aiming for at least probably 20 to 21 million from Washington. But, at the end of the day, his client, has the be all say all. He probably told him, let's get it done. Let me secure this bag going into the season, avoid any injury, whatever. I want to stay here. I want to be in my hometown, what have you. So congrats to the Jonathan for getting the deal done. I think it was a bargain for Washington to get it done at, what the average is per year, and also allows them to have an out in a couple years as well in the deal. At the end of the day, I probably would just ask Nick, how do you guys, when you say, yeah, PFF is hard on Allen in regards to like getting sacks, but how do you rate a 3 technique D tackle versus a 4 technique? Because a 3 technique should get more sacks than 2 in a whole season if you didn't miss any games.
Right.
So how do you still end up rank 8th on your grading rankings?
So the pass rush win rate, it's a percentage of how many or how often he gets pressure on a quarterback when they're passing. And so we're counting pressure as beating his block, getting to the quarterback. The sacks, a lot of times sacks are fluky. So in 2018 and 2019, he had 14 sacks combined through those 2 years, pass rush win rate of just 10%. So a lot of times you can get sacks, but you're not the guy who's causing the pressure, if that makes sense. So a lot of times it was a perfect example with Montez Sweat this past year.
I was just about to
Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen's collapsing the pocket. Deron Payne's collapsing the pocket. Someone's collapsing the pocket. Quarterback's forced to roll out. Montez Sweat's just easily disengaging from his block. He gets the cleanup sack. Now, for us, we're giving up the higher grade to the guy that's forcing the quarterback out of the pocket. We're not giving the higher grade to the guy that makes the tackle for the sack. Now, there's obviously examples when it's just a clean block or it's a clean win against the O-lineman, sheds him instantly and gets the sack right away. Those are obviously going to be our highest grades, but we're treating each win against the offensive lineman the same, regardless of what it does to the quarterback. Because his job is to beat the offensive lineman in a pass play. You just need to beat the offensive lineman and get in the pocket. That's what we're grading.
Okay. All right, that's good to know.
Dre, where you at with it, boss?
Well, let me ask you, did it change your opinion a bit, AJ?
No, it doesn't change my opinion. I mean, I've been knowing about PFF from like the beginning of time with everything. But I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like there's always going to be tools that other people need to justify their points and things of that nature. A lot of those people that rely on the analytics don't really know the game or play the game. So that helps them out in understanding it. That's why a lot of these guys, like Nick even mentioned, 6 of his former colleagues have now moved on to NFL franchises because that data, the analytics, the breakdown of the numbers helps the ownerships, their groups. Like that's where they come from. They know those numbers like like the back of their hand. So, but for me, I just use my naked eye. I mean, to each his own. You feel me? It's all a tool, depending on how you use it. But I feel like a lot of people on Twitter and social media like weaponize it,
Oh yeah.
like it is Bible, you know?
I 100% agree with that. And like we have in like our statement, when we're talking about the grades, we say it millions of times. This isn't the Bible. It's how we're grading these players. You can't go up to him and say like, yeah, no, you're an 80. I don't care what you think, you're an 80. Like obviously we're not going to do that. It's just a tool. It's a tool that people can use for people that don't have the time to just kind of like break film down and watch all 22 throughout the week. It's a tool for them to use it, sort of see where these guys are stack up compared to the rest of the league. And the grades are just based off of what we're watching on film. We have our analytics guys, our data guys that are taking those grades, taking the stats we give them, and then coming up with projections and all. I don't even understand any of that stuff. I'm just watching the football and I'm grading them. These guys are taking the numbers, and it's kind of incredible what they're doing. And that's what we basically sell to the NFL teams is look at what we're doing with these numbers. This is how it can help you and all that sort of stuff. But the grades come solely off of watching film.
Before you go, Dre, AJ, do teams use that in like negotiations? PFF, do they use like data and stuff like that, or analytics in negotiations with players and stuff?
Very few teams. I know agent-wise, a lot of guys don't use it. But unfortunately, the players, like your client, they'll be paying attention to it and, hey, why am I this number? But that's just them being sensitive, you know. They're on social media. So anytime PFF puts out a grade, whether it be weekly or for the year, you know, guys are like, the hell you talking about? I'm ranked 73. I got a 73 grade, but I'm in the Pro Bowl, or I put up these numbers. How you know what coverage I was playing? How you know my route assignment? Blah, blah, blah. So it's just one of those things where some teams use it, but in your negotiation as an agent, you're not typically using that. Because at the end of the day, they know if they want to sign the player or not. So that grade is not really going to do much. They have all the tape in the world of everything your client has done from back in high school, damn near. So, you know, it's not one of the negotiation tools that you would typically utilize.
All right, so Dre, where you at with this one? I heard you yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, when it happened, you had a little thread for people to follow when he did get extended. Break down how good Allen was.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you know how I feel about Jonathan Allen. I think he's a great player for the franchise. I mean, not like I said, like I've been saying, leadership plus his ability is the reason why he got his extension. You know, and that's important. I mean, Jonathan Allen's not Kendrick Golston. You know, I mean, he's not just a good guy in the locker room, and that's where it ends. I mean, he's a great player on the football field as well. I mean, you look on the defensive line, and he does a lot more double teams than the rest of the guys that come in and on the interior, and that's because he does have elite pass rushing moves. Like, I mean, he may not get the sacks, but like Nick said, he's collapsing the pocket. I mean, he's causing havoc, and it's almost unfair that you have the ends that you have in Chase and Montez, because that's only going to make things even scarier for opposing offenses with Jonathan Allen doing what he does in the middle. So I think the staff realized that he's a guy you can't let go because, like I said, not only is he important on the football field, he's also important when it comes to the leadership role in that defense that they're trying to establish.